Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Jannat ke Pattey. I selected this book for my February TBR and I read it a couple of weeks ago actually. And this was my second time reading it and I absolutely loved it. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into the video and discuss this book. Jannat ke Pattey is an Urdu novel and it's written by Pakistani writer Nemrah Ahmed, and as you can see, it's a pretty hefty novel. It's of 860 pages and it was first published in the year 2012. And then in 2016, it was published in India, at least this edition was, and I don't know if it was published before that or not. I'm going to touch a little bit on the summary of the novel. The novel is about transformation and the whole journey that a human being goes through when they're going through a transformation. The novel is basically about this young girl called Ayesha Syed, and she is a girl full of life. She lives life to the fullest and she doesn't care anything about any other thing that happens in life or in the world in general. The novel takes place in two countries, Pakistan and Turkey, and the novel starts off with Ayesha Syed sitting in her room and she gets an acceptance email from a university in Turkey, and it's basically accepting her in the university as an exchange program. That's the base of the novel and that's how things start up, and that's how we get to know that okay, there is an inclusion of a different country, she is going to a different country, and then things happen. I'm not going to talk too much about the plot or the theme or the summary because there could be potential spoilers in between, and there are a lot of spoilers, so I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read the book. The novel basically talks about the concept that when you are on a righteous path, or when you are on a correct path, or when you know that you are on a correct path, then you are going to face a lot of hardships and a lot of difficulties. And how you are going to come out of those things and how you are conquer everything and still stay on the same path will depend on your perseverance and on your determination. And I think that it's such a nice concept to talk about because even when we relate this concept to our personal life, you will notice that sometimes we are really determined towards a certain goal, and then there are people who just are not believing in you and they point fingers at you and they're like, okay, you won't be able to do it. So I think that this novel really relates to your personal life as well because we all go through these things. The primary concept that this book talks about is religion, and I really admire and love the fact that Nemrah Ahmed has done an incredible job at fusing fiction and spirituality. And at the same time, I think that there is a huge need of such work because honestly, when you read this novel, it raises so many questions and you are constantly questioning things, and it leaves you on such a positive note that it literally stays with you for a long time. In my opinion, a good novel is one where your mind is not static, where it's constantly working and trying to find out the mysteries in the novel. And I think Nemrah Ahmed has hit the mark. This novel is so much suspenseful. There are so many climaxes, there is so much happening in the novel that you are constantly thinking about things. And there are so many intricate things happening in the novel that you are like, oh my goodness, where has this come from? What is happening right now? Like, was this introduced before? Was this talked about before? Was this hinted before? So your mind is constantly working, and I think that one of the reasons this hefty book has been so successful is the fact that she has hit the mark every single time with her comments, with the way she has managed things, and with the way the story is flowing. It's a really fluid story. Nowhere it feels as if something is abrupt. Every single thing, even the new characters that are introduced in the novel, they have been built up. The storyline has been built up to introduce those characters, and it doesn't feel as if, oh my goodness, where has this come from? Nothing like that. Everything is so fluid, it literally feels as if you are taking a scoop out of the smoothest ice cream. The first time that I read it, I was confused because so much was happening, and like you are also trying to find out the mysteries, and then things are unraveling, so you are trying to understand what was happening and what happened. So the second time around, I enjoyed this book even more because I knew some fundamental things that okay, this is this and that is that. You will know what I'm talking about if you have read the book already. So the second time around, I knew my basics, but even the second time around, it was so confusing that I literally have a note in my phone where I wrote every single thing that I was thinking while I was reading the book. And by the end of the novel, I was laughing my head off when I read those notes because I was so confused while reading it. And I think that Again, this proves the fact that Nemrah Ahmed is such an incredible writer that even the second time around, you are constantly guessing things and you're constantly trying to conjure up things and remember what was happening and what is happening. Even the second time around, it's confusing. And the characters that she has written in the novel, obviously it's a hefty book, so there are going to be a lot of characters. Every single character is so likable. Like, there is this character called Khadija or DJ, and then there is this character that is introduced later on, and she's called Bahar-e-Gul. Both of these characters are so cute, and like literally you have the time of your life while reading these characters, while reading the dialogues that are happening between the characters. And honestly, I was laughing my head off at certain things. One of the things that make a novel perfect for me is a definitive end, and this novel has a definitive end. I dislike open ends because it just, I don't know, it just creates so much mess. But at the same time, the definitive end also has an open ending in a way that you can create your own story in your mind, and you're like, okay, maybe this happened later on. So I really love the way things have settled down and sort of ended. Now, coming towards the things that I have issues with, there are a few things. Number one is the length of the novel. It's a huge novel, and a lot of the times it feels as if there are a huge chunk of paragraphs that are in between the novel, and they kind of seem really hefty to read. And at times it felt as if they were not really adding anything to the story. Obviously, there is articulation, there is an explanation of things, but on the other hand, there are things that are really long explanation of certain things, and I felt that they could have been eliminated from the novel. Number one, it could have made the novel a little bit smaller, and number two, it could have made the novel not feel disconnected at some points. Because of these long paragraphs, what happened was sometimes the novel felt really dragged on, and it felt as if we were not really reading a story, rather we were reading an article or a passage from a non-fiction book. I'm not saying that that was wrong, but obviously she has written it for a purpose, but at times it felt like that, and I think that that could have been eliminated to make it a more finer read. And the second thing is also on the same line, and that is certain dialogues at some places felt really chunky to read. And now we have come to the rating part. I am going to give this book a solid 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. If you haven't read the book, I definitely recommend it to you guys. Go ahead, read it. And I will also leave the link in the description if you want to purchase an Indian version of the book from Amazon. And if you don't understand Urdu, and if you are still here, like, huge round of applause to you. I am so glad that you are here and you are still watching this video. The purpose of this video was not to exclude you because this is an Urdu novel, but I also read Urdu books, so I want to talk more about them. And also I want to let the world know what is happening in this side of the world. And we have come to the end of this video. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I will leave my social media links in the description, and I have also made my account on Goodreads, so if you want to follow me there, the link is in the description. And I will see you guys really soon, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum.